Good morning. My name is Jo. I have a congenital heart defect called tetralogy of Fallot, which is hereditary in a small number of cases. My parents always told me and my doctors that there was no history of heart issues on my paternal side. Aged 54, I discovered that I was donor-conceived and my father was Mr. Anonymous. Amidst the shock of discovery was the trauma of knowing that I had been giving inaccurate medical history all my life. This was incredibly scary. My cardiologist was absolutely horrified and arranged for me to undergo genetic testing to ensure that I was not a carrier of the gene mutations known to cause Fallots. Access to medical history doesn't just affect the donor-conceived individual, it affects their descendants. Lack of access to medical history, as Jo here is going to tell you, can kill. Thank you.
Hello and thank you. I don't have the time here to list all the ways in which we're medically disadvantaged, but I do hope to honour the plight of two people who are important to me. Alison Davenport is from the same clinic as me. When she was suffering from leukemia, she needed more than ever to be able to contact her paternal family. She wanted to ask if they could help save her life by giving her a bone marrow transplant. Appealing for legislative reform, she said, "You can't help thinking that anyone born via donor conception is part of some lost generation, which the medical profession and the governments are hoping will die off without needing to be dealt with. But I am still here, and I need this information, not just for my mental closure, but to fight my cancer." Alison died while still obstructed from contacting those relatives. Laws were unaffected in the UK as her plea fell on deaf ears. Narelle Gresh was a close friend of mine and many of us here. She spent 15 years trying to access information about her father and kin, along with knowledge of her medical history. She appealed to the authority that held her sealed records, saying, "I believe the truth will set me free, and I ask for access to my records for this reason." It wasn't until Narelle was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer and was in the last 6 weeks of her life that she was finally allowed the information that enabled her to find and meet her father. She died at just 30 years old, learning too late of a genetic predisposition to bowel cancer on her paternal side. There is now a law in Australia that overturns donor anonymity in her state, Narelle's law. Hopefully this will help the many, including her 8 unknown half-siblings, who are likely to be ignorant of their own donor conception and their genetic predisposition to bowel cancer. These are 2 preventable deaths of donor-conceived people, but there will be many more. By design, we live with medical and genetic misinformation and ignorance, impacting our physical and our mental health. The best interests of the child were not protected by these designs. Alison's question still resonates. Did they not think of the implications for the children they created? I honor your courage and memory, Alison and Narelle.